Hello and welcome to the Rewrite Your Story community. This podcast was created to inspire others to take power back into their own lives. I'm here to share the stories and tools that I have learned through my own life experiences and my guests as well to help you rewrite your story forever. This podcast is best paired with an open mind and a journal, so let's get comfy and dive right in. Okay, so for any of you who are watching online, will see that I look a little different today. And the reason for that is, if you can't tell by this big giant balloon, we are 1 year old today. My podcast was launched this day last year, and this day last year it was my 29th birthday, and this year is my 30th birthday. So I thought I would have a little bit of fun and hope you can sing happy birthday with me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me and my podcast. Happy birthday to me. Yay! We did it! We did it 1 year ago today. Whew, the smoke from the candle. 1 year ago today, this podcast was launched. 1 year. Oh, so much has happened. So many things have changed. I have changed. The kind of way my content started to what it is now has changed. And I'm really excited about that. Really excited about that. And that's kind of what I wanted to hop on and talk about in this episode. And it's been a while since I've done a solo episode, is just change. Change is inevitable. And change is okay. Change is great. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to say thank you to those people who are listening, who listened from the beginning. As you can tell, this isn't necessarily a year of doing episodes once every week. I've kind of gotten to the habit recently of doing about like 3 a week. And, there was a couple of months where I took a bit of a break due to some personal things. So I'm really glad for you guys who have stuck by this whole year. I don't think my editing skills have got much better, but, I'm sure the sound quality has hopefully changed maybe just a little. But yeah, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for those people who have messaged me with, messages to say that you got stuff from episodes and what you've been learning. And for those people who've even reached out to inquire about my coaching and stuff, I cannot wait to work with you. That is coming, I promise. I was actually hoping to have my website up and running today as well, so you guys could start booking me and get things going. But there's just a bit more work I want to put into it. And I promise I'm not a perfectionist here where I'm trying to over perfect it before putting it out. I promise that's not the case. I just wanted to give you guys a bit more care and attention than rushing to get it out. If I rush to get it out, you're going to get half-assed stuff, and that's not what I'm about. So hang in there. Should be like middle to end of August that things are out and you guys can start booking time and booking stuff. So I will have that all on my Instagram page for anybody who wants to be kept in the loop. So if you're not following over there, it's the same name as you can find me on everything as rewriteyourstory.ca. But that's the thank yous out of the way. And honestly, I mean it. But what can change in a year? Honestly, everything. When I first started this podcast, actually, hold on. Before we get into that, let's open some wine. It's my birthday after all, right? It's my birthday. And this wine, I don't know if any of you people have had orange wine yet, but yeah, let's just pour the rest of the bottle in there. Yes, yeah, I'm Irish. That's what we do. Orange wine yet, but I am kind of obsessed. I'm a big Pinot Noir person and I love rosé, but orange wine, they do something to leave in the skin or something a bit longer. I don't know, but it's yum. And this is actually from one of my favorite vineyards here in Canada. It's called Orofino. They're lovely. It's actually just there like last week. So awesome. But yeah, let's open some wine for this. And why not even have some cake? Yeah, it's my birthday. That's what we got to do. So a year ago today, where was I? I was single, for one. and okay with it. Living by myself. I just got laid off because of the pandemic, and I had a beautiful gift. And that gift was time. I knew I always wanted to share my story. Not for people to take pity on me, not for people to, feel sorry for me or any of that, but to show people that you can go through trauma, you can go through absolute hell, but it doesn't have to define you. A lot of the time, I think when people think of people who've gone through trauma or gone through suffering, you think of a broken person. Think of people who struggle with depression. We think of people who struggle with self-harm. We think of people who don't have their lives together, or as Mark Groves like to say, they're poop in a group. But I want to change that narrative. I want to first permission those people who are in the shit, who are going through the shit. They don't have to live there. And secondly, change people's perception that just because someone's went through shit doesn't mean they are that shit. Like Shauna said in my episode with her, take your shit and turn it into art. What if the automatic thing that people thought of people who go through trauma or major loss or anything traumatic was the strength, was the hero at the end of the story? I don't like to say survivor, because I don't feel I survived my stuff. I lived it. There was nothing to survive. I lived and felt every single moment of those things. And anybody listening who's gone through the shit too, you know what I'm saying. You're not a victim. You didn't suffer this. You lived it. It was real. It was part of your everyday. It was part of that moment. It was part of your existence. You lived that. And for me and my story, I let it take over me. I lived in that victim seat. I lived in the why is me. But fuck, let me tell you, I'm no longer there. And I haven't been there for the longest time. And it feels great to be on the other side. It feels great. And I created this podcast a year ago for younger me, which I've come to learn in the coaching world. We call it your inner child. Who knew there was a name? But yeah, I knew me when I was in the thick of it all. What if I had something like this that I was listening to? Maybe things could have been different. And that's why when I had this gift of time a year ago today, I decided to put this podcast in the world. I did it for younger me. But oh my God, it's helped so many people. And even at that, it's also helped me, current me, by talking about these things. It wasn't, let me tell you, it wasn't actually until this podcast, my episode 1, where I was able to tell my story without crying, without being a ball of a mess. And you know why? Because that's what it is. It's just a story. I don't feel the pain of it anymore because I'm not living that pain, and nor am I letting it live within me. Anytime I spoke about my story and I got upset, it felt like I was living it again. It felt like the people who abused me were still continuing to abuse me. Do you know what I realized in that moment? I was choosing to let them. Sounds a bit fucked up when you say it that way. And I know everybody's story is different. Everybody's experience is different. I'm only just speaking to my own here. But I realized me still choosing pain Me choosing suffering was also choosing to let them to continue to hurt me. And like I say all the time, like I'm the lead character in my own story. I am the main character in this book. And I don't like that story. I don't like that narrative. So I'm going to take that shit and turn it into art. And I felt it. I worked through it. I can talk about this because it's a story. It's part of the chapter of me. The chapter within my story of me. God, I said that so funny. You think with doing podcasts that I actually get better at talking and doing stuff. Actually, I'm going to drink some of this wine because like I've had it sitting in my hand for a little bit. Might as well drink it. So good. But anywho, yeah, it's part of my story. And I want to remind you or invite you to think that if you are someone listening right now who is going through the shit, it may not seem like it now, but you will and you do have a choice. And it's also important to feel the shit. I think anybody who watches my Instagram would see that I posted a video a couple of weeks ago. And I said, I don't hope you feel great. I don't even hope you feel good. I hope you feel whatever it is that you need to feel in this moment. And that when it comes to working through your shit, when it comes to working through your trauma, when it comes to working through any difficulty in life, we don't want you to bypass it. We don't want you to run from it, act like it doesn't exist. But listen to it. Also listen to how it feels. Listen to what that message is telling you. I think we talk about this in some of the other episodes where we talk about pain. It's your body sending you a message, saying it needs something. Well, how you react to things is the same. Do you ever notice how two people can go through the same life experience but have completely different reactions? It's the same thing. Because a message is coming up for us based off circumstance, based off a previous life event, previous thing we've experienced. For some person walking down the street at night can be totally safe. For somebody else, it can bring absolute fear. One person believes it to be safe, and the other person believes it to be dangerous. But both people have chosen to take on those stories. Both people have chosen to take on those narratives, but also with evidence. So how do you start making the changes? And it's by building evidence within yourself. And you start small. You start small with these choices. And a big thing for me of where I started, starting to learn to trust myself. I did not trust me. God, I didn't even know what I wanted or what I thought because I have let my life be controlled by so many other people. Even as much as I hate to admit it, growing up in the performing world, I got to play so many different people. So I got to avoid thinking about what Amy wanted to do. No, don't get me wrong. Loved performing. Pretty goddamn talented at it and loved it. But it gave me an opportunity to bypass and run from my shit. It did. But then I realized I had a choice. And some people, when they end up at the rock bottom, that's when they realize they have the choice. And I've designed this podcast to hope that you don't have to get to absolute rock bottom. For myself and my guests to share parts of our stories and give you guys these tools that have helped us along the way. But like I said, with this one, it's all about starting small. Listening to your gut. Some people want to be fluffy and call it their solar plexus or their intuition, whatever word works best for you. We all have it. We all have this little voice inside of us that knows what's right for us and knows where these feelings and things come from. I wonder if you picked something. This is maybe a point to get your notebook out or take a note. I don't know. But if you feel called to do so, to pick something in your life that you want to change, you want to improve, whether it's a thing you think of a lot, an identity you have, or, you really want to set a boundary and start getting better with saying no. And no was a full sentence. It took me a long ass time to realize that, but it's a sentence. It doesn't have to waver for anybody. Tangenting. I know, as usual. Come on. We'll be doing this thing a year. I think if you don't know I tangent by now, you've not been listening long enough, okay? But take one of these things in your life that you're not happy with, that you feel is weighing you down, that's depleting your energy, that's putting you in spirals that you don't feel like you're able to move forward. You feel stuck. And look at it and see where you can make one small change. And be that change just listening to your gut for a second. A second. I know for me, one of the biggest steps was when it came to setting boundaries. Let's use that as an example. I sucked at it because I didn't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. People pleaser, right? I think it's an identity that so many people can identify with, is being a people pleaser, wanting to bring joy in other people. But then why do we do that? It's also to fulfill a need of our own. I want to make other people happy because then I'll be liked. If I make other people happy, then I'll be loved. And as humans, we have like 6 core human needs. But love is one of them. A strong one for a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not. It's there. So when you look at these things that we're doing, these behaviors, these ways of thinking, we're typically doing it to get a need met, whether it's significance, certainty, love. There's 3 more, but they're negating my mind. I'll probably hopefully put them in the show notes. But we're doing them to fill some sort of need that we have. But when we do these things for long enough, they're unhealthy because we're not doing them with the right intention. We're doing them out of scarcity, out of panic, out of, I just want to be liked. Let me conform to you so I can receive your love. But it's not real. It's not authentic if we're doing it just because for them. What if we did things in alignment for us? What if we did things because we wanted to do them? And if the other person didn't like it, that's okay. So this is why I like to use boundaries as a great example. When I first started setting boundaries with people, especially friends, especially in my friend circle, some people didn't like them. Some people did not like my boundaries. And that gave us a really good opportunity to explore that with the friend. Sometimes it also has you realize that maybe they're not a friend. But it was scary, really scary. But the thing I was afraid of was upsetting somebody else. Somebody else getting mad at me for doing going against what they wanted. But listening to what I wanted, listening to that gut instinct of going, no, this is not okay. And staying with that's not okay. It's where the shift started to happen. And when I started to do that, I feel better. And then my body started to realize, maybe you do know what's right. Maybe you know what's right for you. Maybe all the stuff that the universe and the world and, well, not the universe, but like the world, society, all the stuff have been telling you to say, think, do, or feel isn't how you are meant to feel. I could talk about this in my episode with Jenny, the gentle vegan, about intuitive eating. Like, who said that cereal is what you had to have for breakfast? Sometimes I want leftover Chinese food. Sometimes, like today, I had chicken noodle soup for breakfast. And it wasn't even leftover. 10 a.m., fair enough for the late breakfast. I had chicken noodle soup because I was hungry and that's what my body wanted. I listened to my body. And the first step to making any of these shifts, to getting closer to your alignment and who you are, and being able to make these big choices, is starting small and starting with you. I know for some of you, this might seem like, sounds so straightforward, but like it's hard. And that's correct. It sounds super straightforward. It is hard. And it takes time. I wish someone told me that when I first started this whole journey, was that these things take time. I first saw a therapist when I was 21. I'm now 30. And I'd say it was about 2 years ago when I started really listening to myself. When I knew I could listen to myself. Where I stopped living life by default and lived it to my own design. When I realized that rewriting your story was possible. Not just a dream, but actually possible. If any of you are listening to this and you're in the thick of it, and you really don't feel like there's a way out, I want to let you know I was there too. Multiple times. I think I've shared it on here before, but I had problems with self-harm, eating disorders. I treated myself like absolute crap because I was what I was used to. But I chose to say no more. Chose to say no. Chose to say this is not what I want my life to look like. And you have that choice too. You really do. And if you're not in the thick of it, if you are just confused and stuck and don't know where the fuck to begin, that's okay. Just even listening to this podcast shows that you want to get there. You're already choosing. There's a beautiful phrase that I picked up from doing my life coaching certification. And it is, I am in the process. I'm in the process of blank. You know, we beat ourselves up sometimes because we think we should get to the thing overnight. Oh, I want to stop being so depressed. I need to stop being so depressed. Why am I still depressed? I need to stop being depressed. You're in the process of becoming not depressed anymore. You're in the process of becoming happier. In the process of becoming more aligned. In the process of letting yourself feel. You're in the process of realizing you have a choice. In the process of realizing you have your own thoughts. Your own goddamn thoughts. For any of you that are heavy on the social media, you would know about when you see these polls that people put on Instagram. Should I wear this dress or this one, or this pink color or this pink color? And I know sometimes it's genuinely because you're torn between two. But I honestly believe you know which one you're leaning more towards. So why post the poll? Why not just pick the one you like more? Why look for validation elsewhere? You don't need to. Sometimes it's easier because you don't have to think and let somebody else think for you, but that's where the problem starts. These problems where we end up not knowing our own thoughts or not knowing who we are sometimes becomes from small things. You may have not had a big trauma or a big thing happen in your life, and you are someone who struggles to understand their own thoughts. It's totally normal. But you get there because of these little things that you do often enough that become then ingrained in who you are, become ingrained into your way of being. But you know what the great thing is? These little things that happened over time that you've taken on, these are little things that you can also let go of. You just need the evidence to back it up. And that's why there's going to be some courses coming up. There's going to be, as I say, come next month, one-on-one sessions are going to be available. And, you know, I know not everybody's going to be able to access these. Things are going to be financially viable to everybody. And that's why I will still continue with the podcast, because I want to give everybody access to these sorts of things. My one-to-one sessions and my courses are for people who just are able and want and ready to go that little bit deeper. Now, I will still have discovery calls, which are free and available to everybody. They're just 20 minutes long. And, you know, I might not be the coach for you, but I may know someone who may be the right fit for you. And I say that because I know when I started my journey with therapy, you go in, you tell them your thing, and then they pair you with someone. I didn't feel safe with any of my therapists I had. I didn't like them. I didn't like how they spoke. I didn't like how they spoke to me. In all honesty, I ended up fighting with the majority of them. Not fisticuffs, but like verbally. But that in itself was a learning moment for me, because it taught me to stand up for myself and show me that I could. So for me, the importance of having a discovery call with any of you people that are interested in reaching out to me for a course or to do one-on-one sessions is to see that if my way of working fits what you need. When working with me, my whole focus is you. Our sessions are about you. You dictate what comes up. You dictate what we jump into. You dictate the pace we go. We don't go into anything that you're not ready to go into. I'm here to just guide you through the things, give you some tips and tools along the way, and give some questions, but you have the answers. In all honesty, you don't even need me, because you have them. You don't need it. Like, I'm saying you don't need a coach, but I feel like everybody needs a coach to some degree. No, I don't think anybody doesn't do good without one, you know, or with one. Just a benefit. And I might not be your coach. Like I say, I'm not going to be for everyone. And that's why I want to have these discovery calls. And even if you want a discovery call, just to find out what the hell coaching's about, what courses are about, what this whole world is, I'm here. Just because you have a call with me does not mean that we have to start this journey now, a year from now, whatever it may be. I'm just here to help in whatever way I can. So get stuck in me, get messaging me. I will have, as I say, the website will be up mid to end of August. So keep an eye out. And for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for watching the growth and change and development and sticking along for the journey. And I want to let you know that there's going to be some more changes coming. You know, one of the biggest changes has been now that we've got a YouTube channel and you can see me while I talk to you, whether it's just me or my guests. But another big change that I think is going to be coming is music. For anybody who's followed me on Instagram sees that, you know, a big part of my development and my therapy and my finding myself on my journey has been through music. And I've started a bit of like a music therapy series on my channel, and I've shared some songs and pieces of music that have really helped me deal with some feelings. And another thing you want to see come through is just more of my personality. I've not been fake to you guys by any means, and I've not been holding back at all. But there's elements of my personality that I held back from putting online because I didn't want people to think it was me doing an act. I didn't want people to think it was a character. I didn't want people to think I was just fucking around and being the Joker. Like, it's a part of me that my friends see in my personal life, that, you know, people that I have been in the coaching container with have also seen of me. It's just part of how I am and how I work. I have this little goofy side, a little silly side to me. I think I might say it a bit in my podcasts, but it's something I'm definitely going to let out more because it's part of me. It's part of it all. And if you're going to be in the coaching seat with me, you'll see it there too. And I don't want it to catch you off guard. You'll be like, I've been following Amy for a year and this is new to me. What's this? You know? Yeah. So I'm going to let all of me through here. You know, like I had Miranda on last week and we talked about, or 2 weeks ago, talking about her Authentically You program. And do you know what? I want all of my authenticity to come through with you guys. So it's going to come out and you're going to have to deal with it. If you don't like it, you don't have to stick around. But if you do, cool. And if you know anybody that might like my energy, might like the shit that I talk, and somehow you still listen, however long this episode's been going, you're still listening, thanks. If you think that you know anybody that could benefit from the stuff I talk about, that could benefit from working with me, shoot this episode onto them, let them know I exist. It'd be great, not just for me, but them. But yeah, it's 1 year. So much changes in a year. So much changes. The person I am is because of who I was a year ago. The way I think, the way I look at the world, the way I feel, it's all fueled by her. Not just who I was a year ago, who I was when I was 3, when my trauma first hit. Who I was when I was 15, when I first asked for help and got denied. Who I was when I was 21, faced with an attempted murder on my own life. Who I was in countless amount of toxic relationships. And who I was when I first decided to listen to me. Still that person. Those people, those versions of me still live in here. They're part of me. And I will continue to take those versions of me and put the changes into the world and the changes into myself that they needed. The work never stops. If you ever meet a coach or a therapist or anybody in this, wellness space that tells you that they've done all their things, they've done their work, run for the hills. The work never stops. Never. We as human beings are ever changing. Just like the seasons. No 2 summers are the same. So thank you for listening this past year. And I'm so excited to bring you on this new journey and to start journeys with some of you. So this say every time, but thank you and stay safe. And we'll chat again next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast this week. I really look forward to hearing what you got from this episode, what you did with regards to your homework this week, and if there was any light bulb moments you had. So please, please, please make sure to let me know what you thought and on what those moments were down below in the comment box. And make sure to subscribe to make sure you do not miss any new episodes. And if you want to be a part of the Rewrite Your Story community, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and you can follow us at rewriteyourstory.ca on Instagram, Facebook, and our website.